Have you ever found a song that you absolutely fell in love with from the instant the first note was played? For me, that was a song called Adrenaline. It was hearing how the bassist played and how that was later followed by the rest of the band, the drums, percussion, and piano. Now, I found this song through a playlist created by Tario B. Skuris titled Japanese Jazz While Driving on a Warm Night. The playlist itself is quite wonderful, and I highly recommend giving it a listen, as well as the other playlists they've created. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Let's get back to my little story about Adrenaline and what caused me to make a video about a fantastic band that you have never heard about, and will probably never get to hear, ever again. But before I begin talking about that band, I would like to talk about acid jazz or new jazz for a moment. Acid jazz is a subgenre of jazz that mixes and takes influences from other genres such as hip-hop, funk, soul, and jazz, as well as many, many others. It originated in clubs in London in the 80s and later garnered attention in the US, Brazil, Eastern Europe, and Japan. A great example of an explanation of this, and of just acid jazz in general, is from a 2012 documentary titled Tokyo Jazzed Out, created by Matthew Mastin, in which Gilles Peterson is describing acid jazz in Japan specifically.
The funny thing is, I think that there was one thing that I sort of was part of, created, was acid jazz. And the problem with acid jazz in the UK was that the groups were too serious, or they were too retro, or there was something not quite right. It didn't go with the ideology of the music. So my philosophy was this, but the groups were that. It wasn't really together. But the groups who were really acid jazz were here in Japan. Japan knew what acid jazz really was, and they created and developed it in a perfect way.
A few examples I would like to list that are acid jazz are Jamiroquai, Corduroy, Soul and Pimp Sessions, Quasimode, Bottom Rhythm Jam, and the main topic of this video, Indigo Jam Unit. Now, Indigo Jam Unit. Who are they? Why do I want to talk about them? Well, Indigo Jam Unit was a Japanese acid jazz quartet founded in Osaka, Japan in 2005, which later disbanded in 2016. The quartet consisted of pianist Yoshihiko Tadaway, bassist Katsuhiko Sasai, percussionist Isao Wasano, and drummer Takahiro Shimizu. The group originally started out as a trio and later added Takahiro Shimizu. The name of the group came from Tadaway, who stated in an interview with Studio Rag, in the recording studio, there was equipment that I used a lot when recording. The name of the machine was Indigo, so we decided to make it a 4-person jam unit. So to Indigo Jam Unit. As a side note, I will refer to this article again, and it's mainly in Japanese, and Google translated it, so it will sound a bit weird. Now, the group has released 11 CD albums, each with varying feels and tones, but still sticking with their signature sound. That sound being the individual sounds that each member brought to the music. Tadaway's Latin jazz influenced piano playing, mixed with Sasai's funky and groovy bass lines, as well as Wasano's years of percussion, and finally Shimizu's big band drum style of playing, culminated into a sound that is extremely unique. And on top of all of that, they recorded their songs in one take live. Which brings me to a point about why I love this band. Their songs are incredibly unique, and I feel like you can listen to them at any time and it would fit the mood. Even the way the band represents themselves or how they see themselves is something that I haven't seen from other groups or artists. They take pride in their music, and they are not only happy to play, but essentially put music at the forefront and not themselves for style or for attention. This is clear to see in the way they dress in videos that are uploaded by them. They don't dress glamorously or flashy. They wear a black shirt with white writing based on the album they've worked on or are performing. Not only that, they never released their music on streaming services, which was a big reason for wanting to create this video. All the footage that is playing right now is footage that they've uploaded. They have almost no internet presence and have basically disappeared. All the videos that are posted for them are always in black and white, essentially taking away the distractions of color and vibrancy and having that be filled with the music, making the music the focal point of the group. I should mention that although the group members each had a say in the creation of songs, they were mostly influenced by Tadaway and his Latin influences. Tadaway is basically a prodigy, and he had never played an instrument by the age of 20, and had learned piano while he was in university, quickly picking up on it. This man is like modern day Mozart the way he plays piano. It's wonderful. Tadaway names all the songs, and in the same interview with Studio Rag, he states, For example, if I had an image of this song, I would play it like this, or I would change the way I played it depending on the song. That's why, at the end, I give a title that gives an image of the song. And his statement, I feel, is true for the most part. The song that I discovered, Adrenaline, gives that sense of an adrenaline rush with the bass line feeling frantic and the piano coming in with harsh stabs, followed by the drums keeping the song moving continuously, with it all culminating at a climax of tension, followed by the unstoppable movement throughout the song. Rush is another great example of a title being given after the song is played, with the bass line never stopping and with drums feeling as if they go all over the place, with the piano playing chords that feel as if they never end, constantly being repeated. Raindrop, the piano being played slowly, with the bass line creating an air of tranquility. The drums being played with brushes really give it a feel that you're on spending a rainy day inside, looking outside with not much planned to do. And then later on in the song, the piano gets interrupted by a shaker, essentially giving that feeling of the rain pouring down harder and harder. And one more example, Voyager. It starts off with the piano ascending, wanting to lead somewhere, but never reaching a goal. And once the rest of the band joins in, the piano is going through this adventure of intrigue and determination. And these are just a few examples that I thought were perfect to show what tidal wave means. And honestly, to me, it shows how their music can be visualized with a scenario or a feeling. Now, as I touched on briefly, there is very little information about Indigo Jam Unit, and although their music, as wonderful as it is hard to find. The songs that are found are the ones that have been posted by them or have been uploaded by other people. I would like to shout out Mo, or Moe, for posting all of their albums, as it was really helpful to me in order to listen to the music and collect my thoughts. In all the research I've done, I couldn't find much on the members before their meeting or how they met, not even why they disbanded, although it may have to do with the fact that the drummer Shimizu lived in New York at the time from 2008 to 2012 and was working with other musicians there as well as in Japan, making it hard for them to all rehearse together. Not only just that, but the other members were also working with other artists and branching out, which may have been the reason for the group splitting up. As for what they're doing currently, I assume they all continued as musicians. Yoshichika Tarawe had released music on his own while with the group, such as Rain Man's Story, Encounter, and Rain Man's Story, Tale of Two. Since then, however, he hasn't released anything. Katsuhiko Sasai has shown up on other groups' music as well, such as Kosuke Tsuji's Enda Safari, Bottom Rhythm Jam, and Flex Life's Flower. Sasai has also supported Mike Stern, Eddie Henderson, and Booker T. Williams, all of which are a part of the jazz world. Isao Wasano has also appeared on Flex Life's Flower and percussion session, Triangle Groove. He is also a recurring member of As Festoon and 100 Birds. Takehiro Shimizu has collaborated with Japanese artists like Orange Pico, Sadao Watanabe, Terumasa Hino, Hitomi Nakayama, Naoko Sakata, and Finnish jazz trumpeter Yuka Iskola. Shimizu, as stated before, resides in New York and works both in New York and Osaka. Or at least he used to. Now, Indigo Jam Unit to me is a group that needs more attention. And not just them, but the whole acid jazz scene as a whole. There was a lot that I missed, mostly because I don't know where to look or I'm just not informed enough about both Indigo Jam Unit and acid jazz. Such as how Indigo Jam Unit worked on a whole album with Alicia Saladena, another artist who is also criminally underrated. But all in all, I'm glad I found this band, the random YouTube playlists, and I'm happy that there are people who also love this band as much as I do and want to spread their music. With that, thank you for watching, and please, listen to Indigo Jam Unit.